Hey guys, welcome back. Today I'm going to be giving you my top 5 tips on how to stay motivated when you are losing weight, when you're on your weight loss journey. Most people tend to start off their weight loss journey motivated, and as time goes on, for multiple different reasons, that motivation goes. It's normal, everyone loses motivation. Not everyone is going to stay motivated 100% of the time. When I started my weight loss journey, I knew I had over 100 pounds to lose, and that can be quite daunting. So if you've got a lot of weight to lose, or even if you've got not much weight to lose, having these 5 tips that I have learned during my own process, during my own journey, might be able to help you. So I hope by the end of this video, my tips that have been able to help me lose all of this weight, you know, you can might implement them in your life, and maybe you might get a bit motivated yourself, and it might help you lose weight and just keep going, you know. Before we start, I just would like to ask you to give this video a like. If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel and click the bell button. I am here sharing my own journey and my own experiences. I hope to inspire and motivate you. So my first tip would be to think about your why and actually write a list. This can be on a piece of paper, it could be on little sticky notes around your place so that you can see it all the time, or on your phone, anywhere. Think about it, write a list. I think writing it down is better because you just have it written out. I don't know. I personally find writing things out in a list form better than just mentally, because you tend to forget when you don't write it down. So if you write it down, you can look back on it. But write a list of all the reasons why you want to lose weight. Write down how your weight is affecting your health. How is your weight impacting your life right now? What is your weight stopping you from being able to do? What will your life be like when you lose the weight? How will you feel when you lose the weight? I found it really helpful to actually just sit down and just sit. People call it meditating. I would sit and meditate on how I would feel when I lose the weight. And I also did this when I was in the gym. I'd be on the treadmill and I'd want to stop, or the elliptical, and I'd just want to give up, and I'd just think like, no, how will I feel when I've lost the weight? How much better will I feel in myself? And I would just picture myself in the future, if that makes sense, losing the weight, and how I would feel and how much healthier and like just better in myself I would feel. And it's crazy because now I feel like I saw into the future, because like now I look back and I'm like, oh, like I feel exactly how I thought I would feel, if that makes sense. So just sit and think about that, and think about how you'd feel. Write it down. How would you feel if you lost that extra weight? I would get like these really bad heart palpitations, and there was so many times that it was always at night time for some reason. It wasn't an anxiety attack. I suffered with anxiety, so I knew the difference. It was actually like my heart. Maybe I made it worse through my anxiety, but my heart would feel like I would get chest pain, and my heart would beat really, really fast and hard. My chest would cramp up, and I was suffering a lot from indigestion and heartburn as well. There were so many times where I'd just get a shooting pain in my chest, and it would like make me hurtle over, and I'd be like, that kind of feeling. And it was just not normal. It was really not normal. I nearly called an ambulance, and my friend was like, Louise, you need to call an ambulance, you need to go to the hospital. And I was like, no, it'll pass. Like, it got to the point I didn't want to face like what I was doing to myself. But that was on my list, and that was one kind of issue that I was like, I don't want to have that anymore, and I wonder if losing weight will make that go away, which it did. On my list as well, I wanted to be able to walk to the park, take my kids out to the park, run around after my kids. I wanted to be able to do that without feeling like everything was an effort. Being 269 pounds, everything felt heavy just to move my body. I wanted to be able to take my kids to the park and not feel like that, not have swollen ankles, not have my heart racing, not be sweating, not have to come home and have a nap. I wanted to be able to pick up my kids and walk around with them. I was so heavy that it took so much effort. So if you can hear, my kids are playing. It took so much effort to walk that I couldn't pick up either of my kids, because it's just that extra weight. It was just too heavy. I wanted to be able to walk up the stairs. Literally in my flat, I've got 14 steps, just 14 steps. And before, I would walk up the steps and I would get dizzy. It got to a point where I would get dizzy. I would see stars. My heart would be pounding, and I would be out of breath, and I'd have to come and sit down after walking up 14 steps. So I was like, I need to sort that out. Same with, it was starting to get a struggle to put my shoes on. I'd have to sit down to put my shoes on. I was no longer able to stand up and put my shoes on and tie my laces because my belly was in the way. Like, there were so many things that I wanted to be able to do. And I think it's just important to make it more about the health sides of why you want to lose weight. Like, of course you can have aesthetic reasons. I obviously had aesthetic reasons. So, you know, I wanted to look good. I wanted to be able to wear certain clothes. Like, I wanted to be able to wear a vest top, which I am now. Like, I never would wear a vest top. I wanted to be able to not sweat in the heat and die in the heat in the summer. Like, obviously I had aesthetic goals as well, but I made my main focus about health. And I think it's so much more motivating when you know it's about your health, that you don't give up. But everyone wants that instant gratification, and it's so much easier to give up when it's just about appearances. Every time you want to give up, just look back at that list, and I promise you will be a lot more motivated and you won't want to give up. So tip number 2 is set short-term goals. So obviously have your long-term goal in mind. So if you've got £100 to lose, say, you know, my end goal is £100. But if you just focus just on that end goal, I already know it is daunting. It feels impossible. It just is hard to reach. You're not going to lose £100 in a couple of months. It's going to take a long time. If you just focus just on that long-term goal, you're not going to be motivated. You're going to lose motivation. You're going to think it's impossible, and it's not impossible, but it definitely feels it. So make short-term goals. So what I always do, and what I learned at school, was to set SMART goals. And what I mean by SMART goals is specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and time-bound. So you have to make sure that when you're setting your goal, you're taking into consideration all of them factors. For example, I set a goal to lose around £2 a week. That was specific and measurable. So I'm measuring it on a weekly basis. So I put a plan in place that I will weigh myself weekly. I made sure it was attainable by making sure that I would be able to do it. It's a realistic goal because it's recommended to lose £1 to £2 per week. So I wasn't aiming to lose more than that a week. Time bound, I knew that by the end of the week, I would have to lose that £2. You know what I mean? And then you can do this for other goals, like setting your step goals. As my journey went on, I made sure that I was trying to meet my daily steps. I got a fitness tracker, a step tracker, and make sure that I meet my daily steps. I didn't go too crazy. I made sure it was realistic, because when I first started, obviously I was very inactive. When I first started, I didn't even actually track my steps until it was like a few months in. I got my fitness tracker, and then I just wore it and saw how many steps I was getting, and I was struggling to get around 5,000 steps a day. I set a goal for 8,000, which was pretty realistic for me. I didn't meet it all the time. I did try my best to meet it, and once I started hitting that goal, then I've just gradually increased it to 10,000 steps, and now I aim between 10 to 15,000 steps. Sometimes I get more, sometimes I get only 10,000, but I always try and increase it and just make it a realistic goal for myself. I spoke about this in my sustainable weight loss video that I made like while I was still trying to lose weight, about setting weekly goals. So every week I would do my weekly weigh-ins, set goals for that week. I would reflect on the week before and be like, you know, I didn't meet my step goals as much as I should be this week. I'm going to focus more on my steps. If I need to focus more on my nutrition, maybe set certain workouts, maybe I should work out a few more times a week or whatever. So I would just make sure that I'm reflecting on the week before. What did I do well? What could have been better? And then I set goals for that week. And I think that just keeps you gradually progressing. It kept me very motivated, and it just kept me from dwelling too much on the long-term goal, and it kept me focused on short-term goals, kept me going. Just make sure you're setting the short-term goals. Make sure you're setting your calorie goals. How many calories are you gonna eat? Make sure you just have a plan in place. Yeah, so this leads me on to tip number 3, which is track your progress. Always make sure that you are measuring yourself with a scale, body measurements, clothes. You can get like a piece of jeans. I remember I couldn't fit in a pair of jeans, and the first time I could fit in it, it was amazing. Those non-scale victories are one of the best, in my opinion, feelings. A scale is just a number. It doesn't tell the whole story, so just always remember that, but it is a good measurement. Those non-scale victories are the best, and that is very, very motivating. When you see that you're progressing and you're going in the right direction, it just keeps you motivated. So just make sure you are tracking your progress. You could do this weekly, you can do it monthly. Try not to focus too much on the weekly measurements, because it's not going to go down as quickly as what you would probably want. For me, I measure my body, do my body measurements monthly. For my weight, I am now doing my official weigh-ins monthly, but I do actually weigh myself every other day just to keep an eye on my body fluctuations. I think it's very handy to know what your body does. I don't dwell on the numbers. I don't get bothered whether my weight goes up or down. I understand that my weight fluctuates throughout the week. I would actually weigh myself weekly and do weekly weigh-ins, and I would do that on Instagram, which is, I'll kind of put this tip inside a tip. I actually found really motivating, so I started my Instagram as kind of like a diary for my weight loss, loss, and it kept me motivated because every time I was posting, it kept me accountable for my weekly weigh-ins, and the support I got on Instagram. The Instagram weight loss community is one of the best communities. Everyone supports each other on there. So that is kind of another tip inside there, is just to find some support, whether that be on YouTube, Instagram, your family, friends, but just find like a community for people where you can turn to and get that support. That leads me on to tip number 4, which is do what you love. There is no point in starting a diet or eating foods that you are repulsed by and you're like, you won't be able to stick to it, because you're not going to be motivated to eat it. You're going to lose motivation real quick and you're not going to want to carry on. If you do an exercise program and you hate getting out of bed every day and you hate going to the gym, or you hate doing this home workout that you've been doing, there's no point. Just stop doing it. Find what you love. There's always something that you will love doing exercise wise, even if it is going for a walk. People underestimate how good walking is. If you don't like doing any activity, at least go for a walk. That's what you like doing. You might like running, you might like biking, you might like lifting weights, doing home workouts, you might like calisthenics, I think that's how you say it, body weight workouts, anything. But there is something that you will like and you will enjoy most of the time. With eating, just make the foods that you love right now lower calorie. Don't cut out certain food groups. Carbs won't make you fat. Don't cut out any certain food group. The best way is just to incorporate all the food groups. Try and make the foods that you love lower calorie. Then you won't want to give up. So that is very, very important. That's what I found kept me motivated. I enjoy what I eat and I enjoy the exercise I'm doing, so I don't need to force myself to get out of bed and go to the gym, because when the gym's open, I am excited. I'm going to go. I am so excited for when the gyms are opening next week. Oh, just thinking about it now. Yeah, so if you enjoy what you're doing, you don't need to feel like you need that motivation. Tip number 5, what I did and what I found the most motivating, well, maybe not the most, but it definitely has kept me motivated, is actually watch people that motivate you on YouTube or on Instagram. Follow people that motivate you. For me, everyone knows it is Greg Doucette and John from Obese to Beast. Both of them, they really motivated me. Obviously, Greg shouts and tells you how it is. John, he comes from experience, and I found that really helpful. Is like he shares his own experiences and how he lost weight, and he speaks a lot about issues that really help, if that makes sense, and especially with the loose skin. I also watched a bit of Jordan Shrinks and Felicia Keithley, and I found them really informative, and it kept me really motivated just hearing from people that have actually lost weight as well. Obese to Beast, Felicia and Jordan, they're all people that have come from experience. And then Greg obviously comes from experience, but from a different side of things as a bodybuilder. He tells it how it is. He calls out the BS in the fitness industry. He gives you the correct information. That's what I found very useful watching their channels. If you find that I motivate you, then click the like button, subscribe and click the bell button. Just a little shameless plug there. But I also wanted to add in as well, don't focus on comparing your progress and your journey to other people's, because everyone has their own journey and their own struggles. Literally, as I said before, comparison is the thief of joy, and you don't really know truly what's going on behind the scenes. And at the end of the day, everyone loses weight differently. Some people find it a lot easier to drop body weight. Some people find it harder. Everyone has different genetics. We all have different bodies, so there's no point sitting and comparing your journey to anyone else. I think it's just better to help support each other. We can share tips. Don't ever feel like you are comparing your journey to anyone else's or your body or anything like that, because that will really, really put you down and make you feel demotivated, and it will really just put down your progress, all the progress that you've made. When you're tracking your progress, make sure you're putting your pictures together from a couple of months ago, compare your pictures to now, and that can be so motivating. For me, that has been one of the most motivating things. Is I know I share a lot of transformation pictures, yeah, but they are so motivating just to think back to where you came from and how far you've come. Motivation is fleeting, it doesn't last all the time, and you can use these tips to try and get yourself back motivated, but at the end of the day, you need to be dedicated. Dedication is one of the most important skills or qualities that you can have, because if you're dedicated, then you're going to do it regardless. You don't need the motivation. So for me, I think what has actually really helped me is that I'm a very dedicated person, as in if I have a goal or I want something, I won't give up, I will just do it. And I personally think you can practice dedication. I don't know if you would say practice, but you can work to be dedicated. For me, setting routines, I love routines and I don't break my routines, yeah? If I make a routine, it's part of my day and I will do it regardless. So for me, going to the gym after I dropped my son off to school, that was just part of my routine. I didn't think, oh, I can't be bothered to get out of bed or anything, because it was just my part of my routine. I love going to the gym. I made it part of my routine every single day, same time, go to the gym. Same with meals, I eat the same kind of foods. It's just a routine, like I know what I eat, what I do. If that makes sense, it's just part of my lifestyle. So making routines and just sticking to it, not giving up on yourself, and just being focused and determined, dedicated. That is, at the end of the day, what's going to help you get to your goals, because motivation is fleeting. We can try and stay motivated as much as possible. We can use these tips to help us, and it is fun to be motivated. But at the end of the day, you've got to be dedicated, and that's the truth of it. I'm not going to sit here and lie to you, you know? If you found this video helpful, please, I would appreciate if you gave it a thumbs up and leave me a comment down below what tip you found the most helpful. If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel, click the bell button so you get a notification when I upload, so then you don't miss a video, because sometimes I'll be posting videos like bam, 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 bam. I hope everyone had a lovely Easter weekend. I definitely did. It was amazing spending time with my family, and yes, I had some chocolate eggs and I enjoyed it. I appreciate all of you so much. So thank you so much, and I will be gone now. So yeah, I'll see you in the next one. Bye.